Good afternoon. I am delighted on this cool and breezy afternoon to welcome you all to Newark Academy's commencement in this, our 231st year. This ceremony provides a formal celebration of the accomplishments of the young men and women who comprise the class of 2005. Class of 2005, may you have the courage to keep open minds and the humility to learn from others. We have been very proud to call you our own. We are sad to have you leave the corridors and classrooms of this academy, but we are confident that you have the skills to succeed in your next step. Your progress and your achievements while at Newark Academy are to be lauded, but I ask you now to acknowledge that you have not accomplished them alone. Please take this moment to salute those without whom your time at Newark Academy would not have been possible. Class of 2005, please turn to acknowledge your gratitude to your families. Class of 2005, please turn again to acknowledge your gratitude to the faculty who have so generously shared their knowledge and their wisdom with you, who have had faith in you even when it was not clear that you deserved it. Class of 2005, you may be seated. A brief procedural note. As the ceremony closes, faculty will recess and then will pause along the aisles to say goodbye to the senior class one more time as it recesses to the Great Hall, where we invite you to join us at a reception. Jacoby.
From lovers' past. First of all, I'd really like to thank the school for giving me this wonderful opportunity to speak here today to all of you. I'm really even all the more honored because of my particular organizational proclivities. I confess that after rehearsal on Friday, I managed to leave my cap and gown at school. And Mr. Burroughs had to track me down and give it back to me. Anyway. My graduation from high school has been my first real opportunity to experience firsthand the funny things that time can do to your mind. And the more I thought about my years here, the more I realized that in another 4 years, we will have forgotten the things we vowed we'd never forget. And we'll be left with our 16 yearbook lines, initials and gibberish, puzzling over them like hieroglyphics, like some kind of key to a long-forgotten civilization. And so it's become of primary importance to me to take this time to make some accounting of the time I've spent here, while I'm still, to some degree, able to do so. I understand a little bit about the cutting room floor of human consciousness, and I know that it is only a matter of time before I've managed to reduce the incredible range of vivid experiences I've had here into a single odious musical montage, most likely set to Blink-182. I give most of you around 2 years before you've convinced yourselves that your lives here really did revolve around the twin axes of homecoming and prom, and you begin to have more and more trouble distinguishing your bona fide memories of high school from the plot lines on Saved by the Bell. I'm not saying that it's wrong for us to be nostalgic, but it is important that we know exactly where we stand. And so, class of 2005, I ask you the only question that I think can possibly matter at a time like this. What were you doing all this time? How, honestly, did you spend your 4 years as a high school student? Your 1,461 days, your 35,064 hours. Can you account for all that time with dances and elections and tests and homework and parties and dates and all the other garbage they told us high school was all about? I didn't think so. So where's the rest of it? Where is all the time that seems to have already fallen into the crevices between neurons? I'm going to give you my answer today, but I sincerely hope that you will at some point take the time to arrive at your own conclusions. For my part, I spent the overwhelming majority of my high school years, of my entire childhood in fact, in one of the two following conditions. 1, I was bored. 2, I was waiting for something to happen. So let's take a moment to admire boredom for a little bit. Because only in a bizarre place like modern America would I feel the need to defend my favorite state of mind. There's only a nation as strange as ours would manage to arrive at the very odd idea that that which is boring is automatically not worthwhile. In the culture of instant gratification, we have a tendency to plot our lives like action movies. We rush around all day doing interesting things, usually involving explosions and vast quantities of air gel, and then arrive at a hole that is completely devoid of value. This is why I believe that it is boredom that creates the value in our lives. Think about the friends that you've made here. How would you characterize the ones that are the very closest to you? I think they're the people with whom you spend time almost as if by default, when there's nothing else going on. They're the ones into whose houses you walk uninvited. In short, they are the ones who enjoy being bored around the most. I'd like to tell one story that I think may illustrate my point. It takes place as it happens during a speech. Freshman year convocation, in point of fact. I had the good fortune to be sitting next to a dear friend of mine who is now sitting amongst you. Alas, we were not then the fully developed paragons of wisdom and virtue we stand before you as today. Around the 25th minute of our distinguished speaker's speech, we looked at each other. We were bored. With the skill born of long practice, we took stock of the resources at our disposal. They were slim. We had the change in our pockets and the light brown programs that gave us at the door. They actually look a lot like the ones you're holding right now. It's a beautiful effect. So, wordlessly, my friend took his program and deftly folded it into a kind of origami bowl. Wordlessly, I took the bowl away from him. I then tore my program into a bunch of triangles of light brown oak tag and put them all into his bowl. I took one and put it into my mouth, and then offered the bowl back to him. He took one, bit into it, and grinned at me. By the conclusion of convocation, we had eaten every one of our improvised friendships. I'm sorry, Brian. I share this anecdote with you today as a way of telling you that these are the moments to treasure in high school. These are the things that are lasting and valuable and permanent. Not the things we did because we had to, the things we did because we had nothing else to do. I would be remiss if I failed to address the academic portion of our stay at the Academy. But surprisingly, it is clear that I do not know exactly what to say. It is as if I've been called upon to speak about my hair color or my height. The education I have received here has become such an integral part of my sense of myself as a human being that I can no more imagine being without it than I could imagine being deaf or blind. I can, however, at least speak for all of us when I thank our teachers for making us the people we are. We walked into high school bored, yes, and waiting for something to happen to us. We walked it out, men and women, with a sense of purpose and a sense of our place in the world. You are the ones responsible for providing us with that. Our college professors may give us jobs and careers, but I don't think any of us will ever again have our minds so thoroughly shaped, molded, and recast. At least until we get married. And now we are going off to college. Not only will we be learning with our new communities, but we will be living with them. And thus every one of the non-events that form our lives will occur within their figurative walls. This makes it all the more important that we learn how to spend the vast amounts of time in which there is nothing going on. Frankly, I've been pretty unimpressed with some of the college campuses I've visited. I've seen a lot of students who seem more preoccupied with protecting their grade-inflated GPAs for actual academic standards than with doing anything of interest. I guess not everyone is as adept at being bored as all we are. But just in case you've forgotten what you've learned here, I decided to take some time to give you just 5 suggestions of things to do and not do in college when you're bored. Number 1, change something. Move a statue from one side of campus to the other if you have to. 2, many of your schools have an endowment of over $1 billion that it invests in a variety of ways. This is a whole lot of money, and such sums can impact the world. Have an opinion about what your school does with its endowment. Does it support industries with oil policies that are unsustainable for our generation? Think about it. 3, read something worth reading. 4, get outside. If you're going to school in the city, see a play. If you're not, take a hike. 5, don't watch television. It's a narcotic. I've made it this far in my speech without invoking a single dead white guy, but I'm about to break the streak by appropriating the words of the great 20th century philosopher-poet, John Lennon. He said, "Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans." If I could ask you to take one thing from your 4 years here, I would ask you to remember that life's waiting rooms are just as formative experiences as its doctor's offices. That's the way I've come to think of high school, as one gigantic waiting room. We were thrown together by chance with 97 other individuals who just happened to have the same appointment time. 5:30 p.m. on June 12th in the year of 2005. The classics were our magazines, and the chairs were just as uncomfortable as they always were. And so, to the Newark Academy class of 2005 AD, I have only one thing left to say. The doctor will see you now. Thank you.
This year, as we bid farewell to our graduates, I'm especially pleased to introduce a man who is both a strong leader and an independent thinker, a champion for health care and mental health issues, an advocate for education and the rights of women and minorities, and a man who has, for the last 7 months, held the highest public office in the state of New Jersey, Acting Governor Richard Cody. an assemblyman in 1973 at the age of 26. He was, at that time, the youngest legislator ever elected in the state of New Jersey. In 1981, he won election to the state senate, and in November 2003, he was elected to the office of Senate President. When Governor James McGreevey resigned last year, Mr. Cody, as Senate President, assumed the powers and responsibility of the office of governor. In this capacity, he has worked diligently to restore the integrity, stability, and a sense of purpose to the governance of New Jersey. To this end, Governor Cody has pursued an aggressive agenda of programs ranging from important mental health legislation to increased educational funding to keeping the nemesis giants here in our state. He's made ethics in government a primary focus of his administration's policy agenda and has insisted that his fellow legislators heed the demand of our citizens for accountability and credibility in the institutions and people entrusted with governing our state. Regardless of your politics, regardless of your social viewpoints, I believe that we must respect the leadership, the effort, and the integrity with which he has led our state over these past months. I believe that we've been fortunate to have Governor Cody at this critical time. And despite the challenges and demands of governing the state, Richard Cody remains a man committed to his family. He is a devoted husband to his wife, Mary Jo, and a dedicated father to his two sons, Kevin and Christopher. He still finds time to coach a 6th grade traveling basketball team, which those of us who know him is a passion, and he's done this for many, many years. And he continues to advocate for causes today that have been close to his core values for as long as he can remember. A good education for every child, health services that are responsive to a person's needs, and an equal opportunity for every person to reach their goals in life. In speaking with the governor a number of months ago, he expressed to me that only 2 things have changed for him since assuming these new duties. First, he seems to travel with a lot more people than ever before, and that everybody seems to pay an inordinate amount of attention to whatever he says. Not that they necessarily agree with it, but they pay attention. Please join me in welcoming Acting Governor Richard Cody.
Those of you who are getting hot, relax, the introduction is longer than the speech. Now, on behalf of the state of New Jersey, congratulations to the Newark Academy class of 2005. Give a round of applause. Now, let me also note, Mrs. Brigham, that I think this is the first time in the history of Newark Academy that an MKA parent was welcome in the building. But that reminds me of a story that happened in my hometown of West Orange. There was 2 people in a tavern, just the 2 of them drinking, and it was the bartender. At one point, one gentleman says to the other, "Where are you from?" He says, "Oh, I'm from Ireland." He says, "You're from Ireland?" He says, "I'm from Ireland." He says, "Bartender, get that man a glass of beer on me." Some more time passes, and he turns to him and says, "Well, whereabouts in Ireland are you from?" He said, "Well, I'm from County Mayo." He said, "Well, you're from County Mayo?" "I'm from County Mayo." "Bartender, get this man another glass of beer on me." It's getting late. He turns to him one more time, and he says, "Well, whereabouts in County Mayo in Ireland did you live?" He says, "Oh, I lived on Smith Street." He says, "You lived on Smith Street?" "I lived on Smith Street in County Mayo in Ireland." "Bartender, get this man another glass of beer on me." So finally, it's about closing time. He turns to him again. He says, "Well, whereabouts on Smith Street in County Mayo in Ireland did you live?" He says, "I lived at number 22. He says, "Oh my God." He says, "I lived at number 22, Smith Street in County Mayo in Ireland." "Bartender, I wanted another glass of beer for this gentleman." With that, the bartender picks up the phone, calls his wife, and says, "Listen, I'm going to be late. The Murphy twins are drunk again." I want to thank you for inviting me here with the Newark Academy community and the members of the class of 2005 for today's commencement ceremony. Well, as you sit here in your caps and your gowns, Take a moment to fully absorb what this day means to you and to your loved ones. Clearly, it is a special occasion for you and your families, but it is more than just a time to celebrate. It's a time to think about your future. It's a time to dream, because today, no dream is impossible. When my ancestors got off a boat from Ireland, they never could have envisioned that one day their descendant could become the governor of their new home. It is the greatness of this country that the son of a local funeral director, a generation removed from Ireland, could rise to the position that I hold today. So in life, each of us is hopefully given our own moment in the sun, but a moment is worth only what you do with it. Bear this in mind today, because as you graduate, your future today is unlimited. Your future will be what you make of it. Now, whether you have graduated today with straight A's, or whether or not you work through with just B's and C's, regardless of what college you may be going to, maybe even entering the workforce, we're still figuring out what you want to do with your life. Don't ever be afraid to dream. Now look at your parents, your grandparents. Many of them were first-generation immigrants who came here with nothing. Which reminds me, just the other day on Friday, late in the day, took some time off and I was playing golf with two friends of mine. And at one point, one of them turned to me and said, "You know, I can't believe I'm playing golf with the governor of the state of New Jersey." And I said, "Well, look at yourself." He's a young man, 38 years old. Came here in a small boat with his parents from Cuba when he was 3 years old. Today he's a very successful, well-respected businessman. The other gentleman who was playing with us is the sheriff of Essex County, Armando Fontoura, who came here at age 11 with his parents from Portugal, who could not speak the language, and neither could he. I think of my own grandparents when they came here, my grandmothers who worked as maids because they weren't allowed other jobs. My grandfathers who worked in the railroad as a fireman. But this is the challenge you have in America. But it's also the opportunity that you have. They have risen to the top of their professions, and so can you. Whatever obstacles you face in life, somebody else has already overcome greater ones, and so can you. Fortunately, your education here at Newark Academy, together with the support of your family and the values that you were raised on, have prepared you for this moment. You will never know what opportunity will present itself when the chance of a lifetime will come your way. But when that moment comes, you must be ready. Who would have ever thought that today I'd be standing here today as governor of the state of New Jersey? 7 months ago, as Mr. Green said, I was a husband and father, a basketball coach, and a part-time legislator, who, through a quirk in history, was thrust into this position. Although it was unexpected, and the circumstances were truly dramatic, I was ready. Long before I became governor, my personal experiences, the values of my late mom and dad, had not only shaped the man I am, they had defined me as a public servant. The years I had spent working in my dad's funeral home, seeing the dignity that he showed to grieving families, instilled in me a sense of respect and compassion for our fellow citizens. I learned how important it was to be a man of your word and to treat others with respect, regardless of their status in life. Now, let me say to you, if you work hard, if you keep your word, you're honest, you can achieve success. So, as you begin this new chapter of life and embrace the opportunities of the future, I will tell you what I tell my sons. Do something you enjoy. Don't worry about how much money you'll get paid. Now, I know your parents are proud of you as I am of my own 2 sons. You'll be going on to college. let's be honest. You're going to spend a lot of nights partying. You're going to spend a lot of days procrastinating. And you're going to spend a lot of mornings cramming. That's college. And remember, after college, if all else fails, you can always move back in with your parents. And why? Because humans are the only species that lets their kids come back home. And so, as Mrs. Riggleman said, today at some point in time, say to your parents, thanks, I love you, because they gave you an opportunity to be here. That special teacher, say the same thing. Thanks for what you've done for me. Or that particular coach, or advisor, whatever the situation was. You know, you're special. You know how many students wanted to be in your place today and could not be? You certainly were chosen without question. And you have filled your part of the bargain by being here this afternoon without question. So, to all of you, keep up the good work, make your family proud, and don't ever forget the school that has given you a great opportunity and a great education. Thank you for having me here today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Governor Cody. Wise words. It is a long tradition at Newark Academy that the head of school present the class to the Board of Trustees, to faculty, to all those assembled here. This is a more than usually difficult task for me with this class. Although they look quite civilized now. One of the images of them that will stay with me for decades is trying to drive into school one morning to be faced by a gang of pirates perched on a large flat truck, threatening incoming cars with swords and shouting, it's a noisy class. Less than a year later, we found them riding horses through the hallways, making weird clopping sounds. However, this is also a tremendously considerate class. They were so sad to be leaving school that they felt that we should all come with them, and therefore helped us to pack by wrapping the school in bubble wrap. As you all started 9th grade, I challenged you to make this a place you would be proud to call your own once you were a graduate. And in fact, this is a very different school than it was when you began. You have invented, you have created whole new art forms, you have sung beautifully, you have danced and made others dance. You have formed new organizations. You have taught other people. But more than anything else, you have given the rest of the school the very strong message that each of you is proud of your own talents. Whether it be Dance Dance Revolution, whether it be getting lost on campus while going for a brief walk, inventing a club, deciding to go off and do something on your own, forming a band, or writing a speech ahead of time after years of procrastinating. I do need to point out that many of the feats of this class have taken place while they were trying to figure out something they could do before they did the work that they still had to do. I'm sure that you will continue to do this. You have taught us by your example that one can be both gracious and fierce, competitive and compassionate, fun-loving and diligent all at once. We marvel at your intellectual depth, your courage, and your enormous capacity for both work and fun. We will remember you for the quality of your character and your conviction that you would leave the Academy better than you found it. You succeeded. For more than 2 centuries, graduates have been sent on their way with these words. As head of Newark Academy, I charge you honored youths to bear yourselves with uprightness and integrity to the glory of God, to the honor of the state, and to the good name of this academy. Mr. Green, members of the Board of Trustees, and faculty, I present the class of 2005. Mr. Green, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, will award the diplomas. Will the first row prepare to stand?
Alexander Adelaide. Ben Ainsley. Jonathan Joseph Alaka. Corinne Almquist. Farron Altshuler. Jenna Lynn Magnolia. Bettina Veloso Bethlehem. Sam Birnbaum.
Danielle Blake. Michael Calcara. Jason Lau Callie. Erin Joy Kalma. Christina Ann Capitides. Jason Chen. Julian Colbert. Catherine Coggeshall. Ariel Halter Confino. Annie Connors. Julianne Rose Corman. Julia Cross. Ashley Rose Seibert. Brent Joseph Edwards de St. Pair. Daniel Faye Robert Duraney. Como Desai. Sarah D'Souza Dobro. Pallavi Tarakashi. Jacqueline Shayna Dorsey. Bridget Patricia Duffy. Avi Dunn. Serena Tamar Eber. Jacqueline Emmanuel. Alice England. Julian Fettle. Brett Finkelstein. Joanna Gabrielle Nathanson. Daniel Howard Foreman. Mark Allen Fritz. Gregory Joseph Fullenkamp. Gabriel Gabiola. Kimberly Jill Goldfarb. Robert Samuel Gordon. Jake Gorlow. Jamal Gorick. Rebecca Emmeline Grodman. Avian Jaime Cohn. Sammy Hamdouche. Lawrence Wesley Jukes. Mike Kideko. Sarah Kirk. Priya Katari. Daniel Hott. Brandon Lawrence. Antonio Lamondre. Emily Ann Litwin. Jason Lux. Amrita Maitreyi. Melissa Manimal. Molly McGann. Christine McKeon. Jolie McTerrell. Arunima Mekala. Kristen Hidalgo Mulgrew. Bobby Abudi. Eva Wolf Oleski. Timothy Andrew Orr. John D. Ostro. Sean Patrick Payne. Jacqueline Tamara Heiser. Elizabeth Jane Pfeffer. Michael Dickoff. Naveen Reddy. Matthew Reichel. Julia Weiss Rising. Christopher Ressler. William Richardson. Tracy Robinson. Odette Rosa Rodriguez. Jordan Edward Rose. Nicholas John Schifano. Ariel Schwartz. Amy Kate Sherman. Justin Silver. Scott Sinatachi. Jenna Slutsky. Jacqueline Snyder. Sarah Ashley Stewart. Adam Savash. Nina Suda. Sarah Anne Marie Taylor. Timothy Miller Ullman. Daniel Urban. Douglas M. Vollmeyer. Melina Ward. Samuel James Weinrich. Stephen Charles Wentz. Christine Noel Werner. Adam Young.
Our ceremony closes with benediction by Emily Goodwin, who was chosen by her class to close. Please stand.
A traditional benediction is a blessing, a prayer. While Newark Academy has no religious affiliation, we should not deny ourselves a moment of idle worship as we sit at the feet of our beloved teachers, our mentors, and our friends. One of the greatest things about this school is the number and breadth of its gurus, from the intellectual sages to the artistic virtuosos to the dodgeball masters. We've got them all. If we take with us the wisdom and common sense our teachers have proffered, we will have gone a far way towards immortalizing them. My wish today is that for the next 4 years, for our whole lives, really, we can be in a place as open and as generous as NA, a place committed to learning and to the benefits of community. Congratulations, class of 2005.